What you guys got another video? Does changing your DNS actually make you more private online? Changing your DNS can improve your privacy, but only partially and only if you configure it correctly. That's what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video. So as you can see right here, your DNS is supplied by your ISP by default. I've seen a lot of people say things like changing your DNS makes you completely private online, and that's simply not true. So changing your DNS does not make you fully private. It mainly changes who you ask to resolve domain names. So if you leave your DNS set to your ISP is going to handle your DNS lookups and may be able to see what domains you're requesting. So if you choose a third-party DNS provider such as Cloudflare or Google or Quad9 or many others, this handles those DNS queries instead of your ISP. It's important to note that you definitely want to be using an encrypted DNS, DOH or DOT for short, and this prevents people on the network from easily reading or modifying your DNS queries in transit when you're searching for websites. But remember, your DNS isn't the whole internet connection. Websites can still see your IP address, and your IP address can still see that you're communicating with internet servers. Even encrypted DNS hides the specific DNS queries. So changing your DNS doesn't make you suddenly become private online. Another thing I see people say is using another DNS makes your internet a lot faster. This is not always the case. So should you change your ISP DNS to a third-party DNS? Well, there's no this is the best option for every single person because everyone's going to be different. So you should keep your ISP's DNS if you don't have a particular reason to change it. You prefer simplicity, just setting up the computer and it's already set and ready to go, or your ISP DNS is reliable and reasonably fast. And you can use another DNS provider if you want potentially better performance and reliability, but not always. Different filtering and blocking features. These come with third-party DNS servers. They sometimes are better than what are supplied by your ISP, like adult content or malware or just better family protection. Sometimes third-party providers offer better options for this. Now, again, you can move your DNS handling away from your ISP if you just choose you want to. It's up to you. Another option might be encrypted DNS, assuming you might want to configure DOH or DOT. Also remember, potentially moving from your trusted ISP to another DNS provider, if it's not on the trusted list, can be risky. So make sure you use a third-party vendor that is trustworthy. So how does all the DNS server work? We can see here there's a real example down the bottom. It basically means that you type in your google.com, say, in your browser. This will ask the resolver, which is your ISP. This reaches out to the root server, and then the tdlserver.com. This will then go to the authoritative name server for your IP address, for instance, for google.com, and then you will get the authoritative name server replies with your IP address for that Google server, which will be the IP that you don't actually see. You just see the domain name, the URL. And that's about as basic as I can put it, but the graph just explains it all there in layman's terms, really. Now, I don't want to stray off into VPNs too much, but again, activity logging was a big concern, and this is when VPNs started to become very popular. But again, like I said, that's a topic for another day. So you can see right here, we do have our DNS server right here. We're going to be using Cloudflare here, just to show you an example. And they have 3 flavors you can choose from. And you can see the DNS is 1.1.1.1. And we can also see 1.0.0.1. And that's the secondary option. And they also have a IPv6 if you're using that connection. But generally, IP version 4 is pretty much common. You can see also here, this is geared for families. And you can also block malware if you use this one right here, 1.1.1.2, and then you got 1.0.0.2, which is for the secondary option. And then they have another version right here, which you can use as well, which also blocks malware and blocks adult content. Now, there's no guarantee that it's going to block all adult content, but it does filter quite a bit. And you can see right here, 1.1.1.3, and then you've got 1.0.0.3, and that's your secondary one there. So choose which one suits you. If you want to use Cloudflare, this one's quite popular, but there's loads of other ones to choose from if you do want to change, for instance, your DNS server. Now, a big mistake from people is thinking that by changing their DNS, they're completely private and anonymous online, and this is simply not true. Your ISP can simply inspect the SNI header in the TLS handshake package to see the exact domain name you are visiting. It's pretty a complex topic, and I don't want to get too heavy into it, but basically, you're not going to be invisible online by changing your DNS. A lot of people think you are, but you're not. And there's loads of other things that you can cover on this topic. It's a real heavy, deep topic, but I don't think that's for my type of audience. If you like that sort of stuff, then you're probably best to go to some sort of security channel and watch some of their content, because they'll probably cover that in great detail more than what we're going to be doing on here. But if you do want to edit your DNS servers for some reason, you can come in here and go into the Edit DNS settings, and you can toggle on the IPv4. And now you can see right here, we've got it set to manual, and you can use one of those DNS numbers right here. So you can see 1.1.1.1. This is the one I'm put on here. And we can also do the DNS over HTTPS, which is also advisable. So turn that on right there and make sure you're on the automatic template. Just turn that on. And once you've got that done right here, you can also go down to the alternative DNS as well. Now, there is also a fallback to plain text. I'm going to leave that off, but if you want to turn it on, it's entirely up to you. But again, if you want to put the alternative DNS in here, you can put any alternative DNS inside here if you want to do that. It could be Google's DNS in here or whatever. You can put your ISP one in there, whatever you want to use for your alternative DNS. But I'm going to go with the Cloudflare alternative DNS, which is 1.0.0.1. And now we want to change the on automatic for template there, and we're going to click save. And that's pretty much it. You've pretty much got that all set up the way you need it. So the bottom line is, changing your DNS alone is a trust swap. You stop using your ISP resolver and start using a third-party one, but the standard DNS traffic remains visible to your ISP. Just remember that. And also enabling encrypted DNS, DOH and DOT hides your DNS queries content from your ISP and prevents DNS spoofing and filtering. And for traffic privacy, a VPN or Tor is required, as they encrypt all packet contents and route destination IPs away from your ISP view. But remember, even those are not 100% anonymous, and you can still be tracked, and you can still be brought to book if you're doing some wrongdoings online. And remember, VPN companies use fear tactics to get you to sign up to their private no login scheme. But again, there's timestamps, and there's also loads of other things they can use to actually incriminate you. And there's probably not many VPN companies out there that haven't given people up if they're requested to do so by FBI law enforcement, but that's for another video. But you can see right here, I'm just running a quick scan with the Cloudflare DNS on, and you can see it's pretty much identical to my other DNS resolver, which is from my ISP. So there's not much difference between the two. And again, this can go up and down depending where you are in the world. And so do some testing first before you start just believing everything you see online, because not all DNS servers are equal, and some people may have bad results with certain DNS servers. So if it makes you feel more private by changing your DNS, by all means go ahead and do so. And there's a long list of them which you can choose from. I'm not going to go through them all here, but there's a ton of them here. Geekflare has a bunch of different ones on their website. I'll leave a link for that in the video description. Again, like I said, really, it's entirely up to you. Everyone has different opinions on VPNs, DNS servers, and all this sort of stuff. And again, it's going to be a debate that will just run and run. And of course, if you want to completely reverse all of this and go back to your ISP DNS, all you need to do here is go back into network and internet and go back into either Ethernet or Wi-Fi here, and you can go back into where it says DNS server assignment here, and you can see it's set to manual, and you would just turn this off and save this and put this back to automatic DHCP, and it will basically put it back to your ISP's DNS. So what do you think about this in the video description? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you think this is a must-do thing for every computer user for your privacy or to stop your ISP from seeing the sites you visited, I'll put a graph up on the screen right now. So I put a graph up on here so it just gives you an idea of what actually happens with DNS changes and also VPNs and things like that. So you can see basically what the security measures are. Now, of course, remember, security is all about layered security. The more layers of security you have, the better you're going to stay protected and private. But there is no such thing as being 100% invisible and private on the internet. You can reduce the amount of digital footprint that you leave behind, but you're not going to be able to stay 100% invisible. It's just not possible. As much as I hate to say it, there's lots of people out there that will claim different, and that's up to them. That's their opinion, and I've got my opinion. But like I said, if you do want to change your DNS server for whatever reasons, then that's entirely up to you. Just don't go out there thinking that you're going to be completely invisible by changing your DNS server, or even using a VPN for that matter, because that's another debate that will run and run, because you're just simply not invisible even when you're using a VPN. Anyway, but that said, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And also, I just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who join my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support, and I'll catch you in the next video, or I'll see you on the Discord server. Bye for now.